You're listening to the TD Show.
Touchdown Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle! Tennessee has pulled a miracle!
Broadcast live on the TDShow.com.
There goes Davis! Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back! Auburn's going to win the football game! Auburn's going to win the football game!
2 hours of the best sports talk on the planet. Or at least out of Edmonton, Kentucky.
Batted up. Oh God! Stokely down the sideline! Can he catch him? Stokely! Wow! Touchdown! Denver! Unbelievable!
Coming to you live, your hosts, TJ and Dan.
Here comes the
Welcome back to the program, segment 5, the new third hour of the show.
Lauren Morgan, if you're listening, can you come turn on the University of Kentucky basketball game for us?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
During this segment, we will get to during this hour, this 30 minutes.
I turned my mic. Am I mic'd on? Yeah, I'm on.
You're
okay.
On. We will get to a new segment.
Brand new. Brand spanking new. And unsponsored. If you'd like to sponsor this segment, holler at us. You know, get in there with Hoover Auto Parts and Ernie's Shirt Store.
Corey's Coon and Coke.
And Bubba's Kitchen. They know that we're the best advertising in town is.
That's right. 5 random questions. Me and Dan will ask each other 5 random questions. Don't have to be sports related. Just could be absolutely anything.
I had a rough time with them. Some of mine are sports related, some of them aren't. So
a couple of mine are, as well.
Mine are on top. You could have been reading them the whole time.
Well, I haven't been. But before we get there, I want to talk about this Arizona bill that came up last week. It got passed, and then the governor of Arizona vetoed it.
Right.
And
this is we try and stick to sports, and this is why, because the NFL threatened to pull the Super Bowl from Phoenix if they allowed this to pass.
Actually, when we were doing the thoughts of this show, the TD show, before it ever started,
before it came to fruition, there was nothing.
We actually were going to do an hour of political talk.
Yeah.
And we kind of decided not to right now. Maybe someday in the future.
Or maybe someday we'll do a whole separate show.
Maybe.
Caller-driven political talk show.
There you go.
If anybody wants to sponsor that.
But for now, this will be as close as we get.
Yeah.
This bill that has been vetoed isn't a new idea, if you will. It was a law that was passed in the late 90s. And the thought was that, well, if the Super Bowl is in Arizona, then they could decide not to sell tickets to certain ethnic groups or homosexuals or whatever you want.
Right. Well, let me backtrack. The law that was passed do you have the name of the law?
Yes,
what the bill was?
It was the Religious Freedom Protective Act.
Right. And what it was, it had to do
Bill 1062A, I believe.
What it had to do with was there's some same-sex marriages, and then some cake decorators and some photographers and stuff of that nature didn't want to do their cakes, would take pictures at these, and so they got sued by some same-sex couples, and then the state legislature passed a law that said if your religious beliefs are against that, then you don't have to do it. And white people throw a fit about it. They say, well, this is just like race segregation in restaurants.
Right. It's the Jim Crow of homosexuals.
But it's completely different. I mean, it's not. This is.
Let me say this. There's no difference once that bill was passed than before. It wasn't illegal before in the state of Arizona.
Right.
There was ordinances in certain cities, but the state had no law for or against.
Right. And it's still. But here's what I think. Let's look at it another way. Say that you are of Muslim descent, and you're a photographer, and a woman comes up to you and says, "I'd like for you to photograph me in a bikini."
Right.
But according to the thinkers here,
Absolutely.
They would have to go take those pictures, even though they think that women shouldn't be wearing bikinis; they should be covered head to toe. And if that happens, there's going to be a big stink because
And the person could still, even with the law, could still be found guilty of discrimination. It would just give them a defense in trial. They could still be sued and found guilty.
Right. Anyway, but why that happened is because the Super Bowl was there. Is
Right.
why the governor ended up. And this is the second time the governor has kind of let things sit on her table for a while and then vetoed them at the last minute.
And one of the things that I've seen over the past week or week and a half since this has happened is people on the 4-letter and sports talk casters, everywhere else, anchors, whatever, saying, what year is Arizona living in? Well, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that there was a certain year that you were supposed to give up your morals and just start living in whatever was popular culture.
And there was what
in 2000, did we decide, well, sorry if you have morals. This is popular culture. This is what everybody's going to do.
Right. And what makes me so mad, I don't know, I'm not irate, but what gets me aggravated about it is that I think that if you own a private business and it's a creative business, you should be able to use your talents in the way that you see fit. I mean, and I know that if you own a public business and people come into your business, that's one thing. You should be allowed. You can't say, look, gays and lesbians cannot come into my business.
Right.
But if it is a creative business and you are using your talent, say you're an artist and someone wants you to paint a picture of an elephant and you say, look, I'm sorry, I don't paint pictures of elephants. Can you be sued for that? Because that's let's take out the gay and lesbian issue there.
That's exactly what I'm going to
Let's
do.
take that out.
All right. Look, if you're a small business owner, if you're Christian or probably every other religion,
Any religion.
you might not agree with a certain different religion or lifestyle, but you shouldn't discriminate them. You should love them just like anybody else. But let's not talk about gays or lesbians, homosexuals. Let's say a married man comes into a bakery and you're a Christian. That man says, I need a cake baked for my mistress.
Exactly. I was going to go here, but I was going to go with a florist. Same example.
That's against your religion for somebody to have a mistress. That's a sin. To look at a woman in lust is the same as to commit adultery. We know this.
Oh, yeah, or to have homosexual relations, whatever.
Right. Sin is sin. So you can't, in good moral standing, good conscience, make this guy a cake for he's just said, I want to buy it for my mistress.
Exactly.
Another example. Let's say that a non-Jewish individual comes to a Jewish catering business and says, I want you to cater this
sausage.
Yeah, this non-kosher item for my kid's birthday party.
Right. They wouldn't do it.
Right. But now, you could sue them for discrimination if they didn't.
Exactly.
Which just makes this whole thing absurd. This need for the media and everything to be politically correct is just absurd.
Yeah, and even if it's things I don't agree with, even if it's things that I don't like, I think that if it's your private business and you own it privately, you should be able to do it however you want to do it in there. If it's not hurting people.
Just because you hurt somebody's feelings, though, doesn't mean there needs to be a law against it.
I mean, if
you're not infringing somebody's rights.
If there was a gay and lesbian photographer that only did gay and lesbian weddings, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. That's what they want to do.
Right. It wouldn't be some sort of war against heterosexuals.
Exactly. It wouldn't bother me.
If you're not infringing somebody's rights, I'm not real sure that you need a law against it.
Right. If there was only one florist in town and they refused to do your wedding, that'd be okay. I see what you're saying. But there are other places you could go to get flowers. And I get it. You should have the same rights as anyone else, but why would you want someone to make your flowers or make your cake that didn't want you to do it? That didn't want to do it for you. But I think we're getting off topic a little bit.
But it's the need for the media, the 4 letters, and all them to create some sort of left-wing controversy whenever need be. I've said it for I don't know how long with Tim Tebow. It wasn't okay for him to be a public Christian.
Mm-mm.
But it's okay for us to have so many non-Christian values that would offend Christians everywhere.
Yeah, and I know that this isn't the popular thing to say in media.
No,
but it's a thing that needs to be said. Whereas I think that because us as Anglo-Saxon male Christians have been in a position of power for pretty much 2,000 years.
If we say anything, it's somehow racist or ethnicist or something, just because we have a different opinion.
Right.
Just because we want to be pro-Christian.
I don't like a lot of things that I don't have a problem with other people doing.
Right.
I don't like coconut. I hate coconut. Hate it. Eat it. Doesn't bother me. I don't like rap music. I hate it.
Right.
Listen to it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not homosexual, and I'm not going to be homosexual. But I'm not going to go out and protest at a homosexual anything. I'm not. I mean, you know what I mean.
And I don't smoke marijuana.
Right.
I might enjoy it. I don't know. I've never done
exactly.
But
but I don't get tore up about it.
Right.
I just I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen.
I just wish there was a voice somewhere for Christian conservative people in the media,
and not
especially sports related.
And we don't necessarily mean conservative as in Republican.
Right.
Conservative as in if either whether that means fiscally conservative or socially conservative, but you know, people that generally don't throw a fit about things. Well, I know this is a bad example going back to Vietnam, but the silent majority of people, I believe.
Right. I mean,
especially in sports. In
yes.
sports, it pretty much seems like to get on the 4 letters, you have to be agnostic.
Yes, absolutely. I
mean,
mean,
if you mention God, if you mention morals, you get booed.
Yeah.
Like there were people saying that Arizona should lose all professional sports franchises.
Right, and going back to what I said, what year are you living in Arizona? At some
point, they're living in the year post 1776, post constitutional rights.
Yeah,
post Bill of Rights.
I mean, last time I checked, local florists, bakeries, whatnot aren't part of the state. If they want to have their religion play a part in their business, then so be it. Let the market decide. If the market says maybe we don't want people doing that, they'll go out of business. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
If people want them doing it, they'll make more business. Just for once, let the market decide something.
That being said,
obviously it might get interesting if we ever do go sports and
I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to stay more centric than I generally am, for the sake of inspiring conversation.
Well, here's the thing. You know, we can talk about this, and if people don't want to listen to us, they can stop.
They don't have to listen to us. We're going to find out when this is over. We'll see how many people were on this segment.
People can stop listening to us, or people can say, you know what, I kind of like those thoughts. They can tell somebody else to listen to us. The market will decide whether people like us talking about this or they don't.
Yep.
We don't need the government coming in and saying it's illegal for us to start censoring us, saying, you know, y'all shouldn't be expressing those views.
That being said,
we'll move on to our new segment, if you'd like.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I just think we could talk about it for hours, and I don't think that we're going to have an inspired conversation because we agree. You know what I mean?
True.
We're not going to bring up any points that neither one of us already believe in. You know what I mean? We're not going to change any opinions. If we could if anybody wants to talk about it,
absolutely,
give us a Twitter or a call or whatever, and we'll talk about it.
Would absolutely love for somebody to call in and discuss it.
But anyway, the reason we went there is because we see a lot of these social issues that affect sports, and like with this example is with the Super Bowl, and we know how many millions of dollars go into that. But another example that I think, what about in Russia? And the Olympics that they just had. Think about all the things that go on in Russia that don't happen here, that would never be accepted here, and they were allowed to have the Olympics. And that's sort of the things when we talk about Qatar, where they're going to have the World Cup this year. You know, they have a lot of the same social issues there. So the social world does spill over into the sports world.
It does.
It's something
absolutely
that we'd like to talk about.
I mean,
we'll get into
it spills over to everything.
Right.
I mean, it makes up your life in some part.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to our new segment, 5 random questions.
Yeah, we went from something a little heavier than normal to something a lot lighter than normal.
There is a political question.
Well, all right.
In my 5 questions.
There's not one in mine.
I'm going to ask you the first question.
Okay.
This one is not political or sports related. It's actually religion based.
Okay.
If you were to give up something for Lent, since it's that time of the year, that meant the most to you, that could maybe be viewed as an addiction, what would it be?
Ski.
Ski would be your thing?
Easy. I could give up a lot of things. I think I could give up anything else before I gave up ski.
You know, that's something I've been working on this year, trying to get away from
I'm
the
not
caffeinated
even going to
drinks.
try.
It's hard, man. It's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, you don't realize how addicted you can be to a drink.
I know exactly how addicted I am to that drink. But here's how I look at it. You're not addicted if you're not trying to quit. And look, from Monday to Thursday, the Coke machine at work was out of ski, and by 1:30, my head was about to blow
Were
up.
you going into withdrawal? Bad
Yeah.
withdrawal.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go buy something.
We might have to get you some methadone or something to get you straightened out. All
All
right,
right,
what you
here's-
got for me?
If you could attend one sporting event in history, what would it have been? History,
Man.
any sporting event ever that you would like to have attended.
That's a really tough question.
That's a good question.
It's a hard question. I don't know that I can pick one sporting event.
It doesn't matter. It's not like we're really going to get transported
Right.
back into time. So just
I mean, I would, if I could go to one sporting event, not necessarily a specific year of it. Masters would be up there,
yeah.
and Duke North Carolina game would be up there. Those would probably be my top two. What would be yours?
Well, I was thinking more like one time that it
Right.
never happened.
But it's hard. What were you thinking though?
I was kind of thinking like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Beating
To go
George
back to some of
Foreman.
those early Tiger years,
Yeah,
when he was just so dominant, it would be awesome to see that in person.
Yeah, I'd like to see a perfect game in person. That'd be cool.
To see Jordan play in person,
Yeah.
that would be pretty
I'd like
awesome.
to go back and watch Jordan hit that three we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that would be up there if I
Yeah.
had to pick. Either probably seeing Jordan at his prime or Tiger in his prime. Second question: favorite memory from high school football?
Tough one. Favorite memory from high
Favorite
school football?
memory from high school football?
I don't know.
Played on a lot of good teams.
Yeah, well, we won a lot of games. The best game I ever had was probably
You scored a touchdown once, right?
Yeah, one. That was not one of the best games I ever had, though. It was against Crittenden County when that happened. Blocked a punt, but the best game I ever had was probably against Russell County Russellville at Russellville. My senior year, they had some kind of festival on Saturday, and like they were packed there. It was a Saturday day game.
What
We
about
beat
like
'em.
before you got big time playing minutes? Any of those years stick out? Any certain memory?
Well, I started every year. I just played special teams my freshman year.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. The funniest thing that probably it was my freshman year. We still play at the old school, the old field, and there was a punt return, and Brandon Wharf got under it, and he was going to get killed if he caught it. And David Hammer is yelling at him to get away from it, and Brandon, he's oblivious, does not know what's going on, and there are some curse words yelled, and they are so loud that you can hear them on the game tape. And we were listening to it the next day, and we watched it the next day and heard it on the game. It was one of those things where I guess you had to be in the room to see Brandon Wharf's face at the time, but that's a pretty good memory. Yeah, I mean, and beating Murray in the quarterfinals of state was a pretty big deal.
What year was that?
That was my freshman year.
Okay.
At home, blocked a field goal to win. Gail Parsons blocked a field goal to beat them.
Where was this at?
This was at home.
At home?
This was at home. And after the game, the entirety of Metcalfe County, I think, was there. And we could not get back into our field house. You know, the field house was off to the right. There were so many people there, just elated. We'd never won more than 7 games.
Right.
Metcalfe County football had won 7 games once, and this year
And
we just won 12.
And y'all went to Mayfield for the first time after that, right?
But yeah, but
was that
all of Metcalfe County was elated.
Was that the year that number 9 was a porcupine?
No, that was my junior year.
Junior year. Okay,
But yeah, we went to Mayfield first time, ended up losing. But just to, we went in. It took us probably 45 minutes to get through the crowds and into the room, inside to change clothes, take our showers, whatever. Came back out, and the crowd was still just as big. I mean, it's kind of like our junior year. We went to region. It seemed like the whole county cared.
Yeah.
It seemed like the whole county was there for that game. So that's up there.
All right. What you got for me? Number 2.
If you could eat lunch with one living athlete, who would it be?
One living athlete. I want to say Peyton Manning, but I'm not sure that his not character, but you know what I'm trying to say. Personality. I'm not sure that his personality would match his genius, but maybe. I mean, he does the SNL things. He does a couple commercials. So mine would probably be Peyton Manning. What would yours be?
I was thinking Brett Favre would be cool.
Brett Favre, yeah.
That was
Brett
before you
Favre.
told me about
Yeah,
this.
Brett Favre would be good too. All right, number 3. Your favorite Braves-related memory. It can be, I mean, it could be something that you actually didn't see that you watched the replay of, whatever.
That's tough too.
You know what mine is?
What's that?
When we went to Cincinnati, they were playing the Braves, and I can't remember who the
gosh.
center
Melky
fielder
Cabrera.
was.
Melky Cabrera threw the ball backwards.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite Braves-related
I got
memory.
to see Chipper Jones in his last season.
That was that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. I don't know. I mean, I've only been down to Turner Field once, so I like that. I don't know. It had to be something when I was there in person, I think. Because for most of my life, I mean, the early part of my life, the Braves were good, but then they've just been kind of okay since.
I don't think my favorite Reds-related memory was in person. I think it was when Bruce hit that home run against the Astros to clinch the division a couple years ago. I mean, I wasn't there for it, but you didn't have to be.
Right.
All right, what's number 3?
If you had to listen to one song every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You have to hear it every day.
Bob Seger, Turn the Page.
Pretty good song.
That would be my one song. I would listen to it all day, every day. What about you?
Have You Ever Loved a Woman by the Kentucky Outsiders?
That's good.
That's a cover of Eric Clapton.
Yeah, that's good. All right, number 4. If you were president, here comes the political question. What would be your first 3 priorities?
Repeal Obamacare.
That's in my top 3.
I would probably do a lot of economic things. I would get out of the whole business of bailing out people.
Yeah.
Well,
mine was that you would somehow find a way to get back to even. Yeah. Somehow. You'd make a plan somehow.
And I would call up a combination of North Korea and Iran and say, listen.
And Russia.
Me and W are buds. I would just want you to know that before
and
you
China.
make. No, my very first day in office, I would have a conference call with Putin, Kim Jong Un, and Ahmadinejad. Can't say it.
And whoever China.
I'm not too worried about him. He's not going to mess with me. We got too much going on. But I'm going to have a conference call.
And they're in their way.
Yeah, but I'm going to have a conference call, and I'm going to say, listen, threaten me. That's okay. You can threaten me, but there will be repercussions. Know your role, Russia.
That's my top 3. We agree.
Okay. What's your favorite color jelly bean?
I actually don't like jelly beans. So
favorite color gummy bear?
I'm a big orange guy. If something's orange, I generally like it.
I like the pineapple gummy bears.
I'm more of an orange or green guy. Orange and green. If it's orange and green, I generally eat it. I can't think of anything right now that's orange or green that I don't eat.
Miami Hurricanes fan?
No. I'm sure there's something that's orange or green that I don't like. I can't think of anything, though.
Guacamole?
There you go.
Green. Okay.
All right. Number 5. Last question. If somebody would give you $1 million today to fly to North Korea and stay one day, would you do it?
Stay one day.
Yeah.
My plane ticket is booked to come back home.
It's booked, but I mean, who's to say you're getting back on the plane?
Can I take a private jet?
No.
Have to go commercial?
Yes.
Probably not.
Me neither.
Private jet, yes. I'm going to take a cachet of weapons.
No way I go for $1 million. I mean, I'd say there's a better than 50-50 chance you don't come back.
Right.
All right, what you got for me, number 5?
If you could be any fictional character, who would you be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Mine, this was tough for me.
I know
down.
yours. I can guess yours right now.
Can't.
Really?
Go for it.
Harry Potter.
No. His
Really?
life sucked too bad. I couldn't be him. I mean, his life sucked.
Who's yours?
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker. I would probably go Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. You know,
Yeah,
just be.
I knew you were going to go with Lord of the Rings.
Be a cool
I thought
guy.
about being a Harry Potter character, and if I was going to be one, I probably wouldn't have been Harry. I would like to live in that world, but being Harry would suck too bad. I would have probably been Ron or one of his buddies.
I don't even know who Ron is.
Regardless.
But yeah, I'd probably. I mean, Aragorn's cool. You know, he kind of does his own thing. He gets the woman at the end. He gets to save some people.
Doesn't really have any magical powers.
No, you don't need any because he's bad. His dad was a king, and then he gets to be a king.
Yeah.
Gandalf is his friend. He's got powers.
Gandalf lives forever.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever need magical powers, just call Gandalf.
You could be Gandalf and not die.
Yeah, but you don't get the lady.
He gets a what's it? Little spirit woman. He's all about.
Yeah, but they're not really together.
You don't know that. They could go off into some kind of spirit world and.
But I just think Aragorn would be the man to be. And if you ever need anybody to transport something over a long distance, you can just get Frodo to do it for you.
Yeah. I just think all the technology you'd have to be Luke Skywalker, and you'd have
we're living in two different completely
you'd have a
worlds.
lightsaber. That'd be cool. Plus, you have the Force, which is like magic.
They don't even have like typewriters in my world.
No,
I mean nothing. No radios. You got like bell towers if you want to.
I mean, we've got technology, but it's also kind of a Wild West world, which I think I would do okay in a like vigilante justice type situation.
I wonder if there's like Facebook and Twitter.
No,
is there? There's got to be like some form of internet,
something like that.
But no Facebook or Twitter.
No, I mean, you got to think these were thought up in the 70s.
Hey, if I'm living in a world like that, I got to have Facebook or Twitter, or else I'm just going back living in the Middle Earth or whatever, and I'm being Aragorn.
There you go. Well, you could live on planets that don't have anything, like Tatooine, where Luke Skywalker's from. We're going to go to a break. We'll be back.